Namaskar. Good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was expecting this Professor Otri ma'am to join. I'm not sure whether. Can anybody tell whether Professor Otri ma'am has joined? Actually, Professor Otri madam, she is the chairperson of the Internal Complaints Committee, that is ICC, and it is her brainchild to have a sanitization program like that. Our original plan was to have it in offline mode in departmental or school level, but given the current situation, we don't have any other recourse but to resort to this type of program in online platform. So what to do? Can we wait for 1-2 minutes more?
Okay, sir.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
So Nihar sir is here. So here we are having Mr. Niharendu Dhar with us, Assistant Registrar, Examination Section. So he will not discuss about the examination procedure, of course. He will be talking about the gender issues in the academia and the different regulations, laws, prevailing laws, what you should be very careful of when you are you are completing your student life. So you should be now very careful about those things. So I just request Mr. Dhar to please proceed with the presentation.
Thank you, Professor Otri ma'am. Actually, I told our esteemed participants, that is research scholars, that you are the brainchild behind all this arrangement. So without wasting further time, I'd like to go directly into the topic. So from ICC, we had earlier planned to have it on offline mode. I discussed it earlier, but given the situation, we don't have much options. So the online platform seems to be the most suitable one. The whole idea before this sensitization program is to create awareness about the rules, laws, regulations about having a gender sensitive campus, not only in our university but everywhere. You, as Madam has already pointed out, that you are now in the highest course that is available. So it is, I think you should know, not only as a student or as a research scholar, because you are the future leaders, that why it is so important for all of us. All of us means not only our female friends, but also the male research scholars, that why this act, sexual harassment of women at workplace, is important. And workplace, you may have an idea that it is only for the working people, but no, it is not so. It is this act is applicable for all of us, be student, be research scholar, be employee, be outsider, be anyone. So this is the whole idea. Let us have some constructive and meaningful discussion. And you have to excuse me for because since I'm not from this, I'm not a member of the faculty. I'm purely in the administration, so not much experience of this classroom teaching or discussion or participating in seminar. So this benefit you have to give me. If I do some mistake or wrong in my presentation, you have to bear with me and cooperate. And I hope my dear friends will definitely cooperate with me. So I am trying to present this PPT side by side. I'll be trying to explain these things. So this is our topic, prevention and prohibition of sexual harassment at workplace. So first, let us have some brief background. Sexual harassment of women at workplace is a violation of human rights. This is the observation made by Supreme Court in 1997. So you see, this Supreme Court's observation is very clear. Any harassment that is of nature sexual type against women is considered is a violation of human rights. It results in violation of the fundamental rights of a woman to equality under Articles 14 and 15 of the Constitution, and her right to live with dignity under Article 21. So as all of us know, that fundamental rights have been granted by the Constitution of India, and we have different types of rights. So one is right to equality. Article 14 and 15 deal with this right, and then right to live with dignity. So any act of sexual harassment is a violation of the fundamental rights of a woman to equality and also to live with dignity. So given this background, the government of India enacted the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013. So this Act has three components. One is prevention, one is prohibition, and another is redressal. So our today's main focus will be to concentrate on the prevention part, and this sensitization program has been arranged or organized with a aim to concentrate on this aspect. So idea is to have as little of complaints as possible. Ideally, we should not have any complaints like that in the university campus, but you know, there are complaints often. We in the ICC face such situation. So this sensitization program is an attempt to make awareness amongst all of us so that the number of such cases becomes minimal. So this act is an extension of Vishaka guidelines issued by the Supreme Court of India in 1997. So is there any problem in viewing the presentation?
No, sir.
No, thank you.
No,
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Thank you, kindly cooperate. So this act recognizes the right of every woman to a safe and secure workplace environment. Here I should emphasize one point. Workplace environment, you may feel like that we are research scholar, we have come to do our research or doing academic activities. We are not employee or faculty members or non-teaching staff. So how this workplace environment comes? You will see it later. This workplace environment, it has wider connotation and includes everything. So just don't go by this word too much or don't concentrate on this workplace environment. It includes everything. So the act recognizes the right of every woman to a safe and secure workplace environment, irrespective of her age or employment or work status. Work status means somebody may not be an employee. Employee means this payment of salary is involved. So here an employee, somebody may not be an employee, still the act is applicable. Hence, the right of all women working or visiting any workplace, whether in capacity of regular, temporary, ad hoc, or daily wage basis, is protected. So this slide will make things a little bit clearer. Who is an aggrieved woman? Aggrieved woman means one who is facing some problem or who is having some issues with respect to work environment or this academic environment. So this slide will make things clearer. Aggrieved women can be an working or somebody who is visiting a workplace for some work. May not be directly related to, if I give the Assam University as an example, somebody from Silchar, from any other place for some work is visiting a university and face such situation. So he or she can also file complaint under this act. Student, under working woman, domestic worker, regular, temporary, ad hoc, daily wage basis. You know, some of us are regular employees, some are not regular, means their service is not permanent. Then somebody is appointed on daily wage basis. So all are covered. Then for remuneration, voluntary basis or otherwise. So if some NGO people is doing some work like promotion of environmental awareness or cleanliness drive or anything, so they may not be in the regular payroll of the university or they may not be getting any payment, but they are also covered under this act. Employed directly or through an agent. Directly, no further discussion is required, but through an agent, I can tell you that we have in our university people engaged through outsourced agencies like security staff, like housekeeping people, like maintenance worker. So they are engaged through an agent. So they are called outsourced workers. So employed directly or through an agent. Then next is contract worker, probationer, trainee, apprentice, and last is more important, called by any such other such name. So this employment status, working, non-working, it does not matter. If some women have faced any problem with respect to this kind of complaints, she can make a complaint to the internal complaints committee or to the university administration. Nobody will ask what is your status. And more importantly, you have seen somewhere it is written that domestic worker, those who are working in the official residence or personal residence of any employee of the university. So this, as I told earlier, this ambit is much bigger. The title may not amply describe the scope of the act.
Sir?
What is a workplace?
Sir?
You were saying something.
Sir, please make the slide to full screen mode.
Full screen.
Could you
Okay. Okay.
please press 5, sir.
I think it is okay now. Yeah.
Okay. It's okay.
Yeah, that's fine, I think. What is a workplace? A workplace is defined as any place visited by the employee arising out of or during the course of employment, including the transportation provided by the employer for undertaking such a journey. A workplace covers both the organized and unorganized sectors. So one additional point is that even the transportation that is provided by the employer, in our case university, that is also considered part of the workplace. As per the act, the workplace includes the following. It's yes.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, please
Madam?
go to please go to the presentation mode. Please go to the presentation mode.
Presentation mode.
Slideshow.
Just a minute, madam.
Slideshow up there in the
View slideshow, yes.
yeah. Please go to from current.
From current slideshow.
Yeah.
So is it okay? Yeah.
It's okay.
So as per this act, the workplace includes the following: government organizations, private sector organization, NGOs, hospitals, nursing homes, sports institute, facilities, places visited by the employee, including while on travel, and includes transportation provided by the employer, a dwelling place or house. So these are for general observation. Then what is sexual harassment at workplace? So this is one important. We should all know that what constitutes sexual harassment. We are all talking about this. Sexual harassment includes any one or more of the following: unwelcome. You see this unwelcome word has been underlined. Acts or behavior, whether directly or by implication. Sexual harassment includes any one or more of the following unwelcome acts or behavior, whether directly or by implication, namely physical contact or advances, a demand or request for sexual favors, making sexually colored remarks, showing pornography, any other unwelcome physical, verbal or non-verbal conduct of a sexual nature. So here two words are very much important. One is unwelcome, and unwelcome from which side? Obviously it is from the our friends from the our sisters. So if if any of our friend from the female fraternity feels that any behavior from his male counterpart is not acceptable to her, she can file a complaint under this act. So things are made very clear. This unwelcome behavior, gesture, talking, contact, or any such. Somebody may say that it is not direct. So by implication, it is there. So if you are saying something which carries double meaning, still there will be problem. Some examples of behavior that constitute sexual harassment at workplace. Workplace, we always take it since we are from university or from college, so it will be university, college, or like transportation that is covered. So making sexually suggestive remarks or innuendos. Serious or repeated offensive remarks such as teasing related to a person's body or appearance, offensive comments or jokes, inappropriate questions, suggestion, remarks about a person's sex life. So these are some examples. It is not that it is the complete list. These are some examples, list may be more. Making sexually suggestive remarks or innuendos, serious or repeated offensive remarks such as teasing related to a person's body or appearance, offensive comments or jokes, inappropriate questions, suggestions, or remarks about a person's sex life. Displaying sexist or other offensive pictures, posters, MMS, SMS, WhatsApps, message or emails. Unwelcome social invitation with sexual overtones commonly understood as flirting. Intimidation, threats, blackmail around sexual favors. Unwelcome sexual advances which may or may not be accompanied by promises or threats, explicit or implicit. Again, this word is very much highlighted here, explicit or implicit. Not that always it has to be there to be seen or to be heard. Sometimes by implication also we mean a lot of bad things. So that is also not very much an acceptable behavior on our part. So this prevention and prohibition, why it is important. No woman shall be subjected to sexual harassment at any workplace. This is section 3(1) of the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013. No woman shall be subjected to sexual harassment at workplace. So our whole thing behind this act and why it is very much important and relevant in our university's context, that our drive should be, our effort should be, our endeavor should be to have a campus which is free from any such things. So no woman shall be subjected to sexual harassment at any workplace. Campus should be free from this. Our campus should be a gender sensitive campus. And as I have hinted earlier, prevention is better than cure. So it is important for all of us to understand and ensure that the emphasis is on prevention rather than on punitive action. This comes after the act has taken place and all sorts of formalities are observed. ICC has submitted its report, then action is taken. But by this time, act has taken place, act or rather wrongdoing. So our intention is to prevent this type of act. This calls for widespread awareness of the act, rules and regulation amongst the students, research scholars, employees, employers, and general public. Duties of employer. As per section 19 of this act means the act that I have referred, every employer shall, one, provide a safe working environment at the workplace, which shall include safety from the persons coming into contact at the workplace. 2, display at conspicuous place in the workplace the penal consequences of sexual harassment and the order constituting the constituting the Internal Complaints Committee, that is ICC. And under this banner, today we are organizing this program. We have a committee, Internal Complaint Committee, with an outside expert having legal background. Then one senior faculty is there. Chairperson, as I already told, Professor Otri Deshmukh Madam, myself also a member there. So these things are every employer means here our university authority. This is the mandate, that one is to provide a safe working environment at the workplace. Workplace means the university campus, which shall include safety from the persons coming into contact at the workplace, and to display at any conspicuous place in the workplace the penal consequence of sexual harassment and the order constituting the Internal Complaints Committee. Organize workshop and awareness program at regular intervals for sensitizing the employees and other stakeholders with the provisions of the Act, and orientation program for the members of the Internal Committee, that is ICC. So every employer has a bounden duty to organize this type of workshop and awareness program. Before we took charge, there were not so much program, but after we have taken charge, we have decided that we will continuously organize this type of programs, and we have also met some faculty members to help us in this regard. And 4 is provide necessary facilities to the ICC oblique LCC. LCC is not very much relevant in our case. That is Local Complaints Committee, for dealing with complaint and conducting an inquiry. So ICC, should have some logistic facilities, then meeting room, then a conducive atmosphere where these things can be taken care of. So, and also it involves some sort of fund. So far we have not asked for anything. We are organizing on our own, and online program that does not involve much of these things. Assist in securing the attendance of respondent and witness before the ICC. When there is a case of inquiry, so the administration has to help by sort of logistic help, postal delivery, all these things. So the employer cannot, after constituting an internal complaints committee, they cannot shy away from their work. They have to do a lot of things. Make available such information to the ICC as it may require, having regard to the complaint made under subsection 1 of the section 9. And then provide assistance to the woman who is a complainant here, if she chooses to file a complaint in relation to the offense under Indian Penal Code, that is IPC, or any other law for the time being in force. So lot of protections are there, and the employer, in our case university authority, are mandated to assist, help, offer assistance in whatsoever manner possible to the complainant in this type of cases. Cause to initiate action under the IPC or any other law for the time being in force against the perpetrator, or if the aggrieved woman so desires, where the perpetrator is not an employee. Somebody may, some offenders may not be an university employee, maybe outsider, or not in the direct employment of the university, in the workplace at which the incident of sexual harassment took place. So beyond the scope of ICC, employer has to help aggrieved women in sorts of legal matters, filing FIRs. All these things are covered under this Act. And 9, treat sexual harassment as a misconduct under the service rules and initiate action for such misconduct. So sexual harassment has already been included as a misconduct in the CCS conduct rules, that is Central Civil Service Conduct Rule. So any type of sexual misconduct is sexual act is treated. I mean, all those which are proven as are treated as a misconduct under the CCS conduct rule, and appropriate punishment is there for such misconducts. Monitor the timely submission of reports by the internal committee. So employer has a lot of things to do, not just by merely constituting an ICC. They can say that our job is over. That is not done. They have to do a lot of things. Every employer of a workplace shall, by an order in writing, constitute a committee to be known as the Internal Complaints Committee, ICC, to make inquiry in complaints cases related to sexual harassment at places and submit report of its finding to the employer for further action. This ICC have the same power as are vested in a civil court under the Code of Civil Procedure 1908. Those who are from the law discipline, they will be able to better explain these things. For we people, that is not very much comfortable zone. But the only thing I can say that ICC is like a quasi-judicial body. So it cannot be influenced by the employer, by an employee, by any other organization. It will work independently. It will be working as an inquiry committee, apply its own mind, go for all the details, and then submit its recommendation within the stipulated time frame. So which is 100 days, 90 days plus 10 days, 90 days for conducting inquiry and 10 days for writing report and submitting it. So ICC is basically a quasi-judicial body, has the same power that are vested in a civil code under the Code of Civil Procedure 1908. As per section 6(1) of the Act, every district officer, that I am only running fast, this is not very much relevant in our case. Every district officer, this is DM or DC, etc. For just knowledge sake, I am reading out it, shall constitute in the district concerned a committee to be known as Local Complaints Committee, LCC, to receive complaints of sexual harassment from the establishment where the ICC has not been constituted due to having less than 10 workers, or if the complainant is against the employer himself. That last part is important. If sometimes it may so happen the complaint is against the employer, that is top boss of the university, vice chancellor, registrar, or any other senior officers. So, or any dean of like that. If there is a feeling that this justice may not be done in such cases, so there is another provision to file complaint in the Local Complaints Committee. Every district has such a committee. As per section 13 within bracket 4 of the Act, the employer shall act upon the recommendation of the ICC /LCC within 60 days of its receipt by him. So this time frame is not only applicable for ICC. ICC has a time frame of 90 plus 10 days. That is 100 days, but employer has to take action within 60 days of its receipt. Of its receipt means recommendation or report from the ICC. Penalty for non-compliance with provision of the Act. So this is a very red zone. So employer cannot afford to be complacent or cannot remain idle. An employer shall be punishable with fine up to rupees 50,000 if he fails to constitute an internal complaints committee. In our case, we have an internal complaints committee. So that is done. B, take action under section 13, 14, and 22 of the Act. So actions, how actions can be taken, these are being dealt under section 13, 14, and 22 of the Act. Or if he contravenes or attempts to contravene or abates contravention of other provision of the Act or any rules made thereunder. So under Act there are rules also. So if there is a contravention or attempt to contravene any provisions of the Act, or there is abatement to contravention, so there is likelihood of penalty being imposed on the employer itself. Then this is important also, this very sensitive, there is a confidentiality obligation. So we often face in ICC, somebody asks us, they say there is a case before you, what is the status? So we cannot discuss anything. Often we are under also pressure, or there are phone calls, but we have to keep ourselves, we cannot divulge anything while we are in the ICC. Section 16 and 17 of the Act together provide an important confidentiality obligation upon all persons who are involved in the proceedings to protect the identity and addresses of the aggrieved woman, the respondent, and the witnesses. Not only aggrieved woman, the respondent is also covered, and the witnesses are also covered within this confidentiality obligation. There is also a complete embargo on publication of communication or making known of all information relating to the conciliation proceedings and the inquiry proceedings. Conciliation proceedings is something else. It is done when before inquiry started. If complaint is of minor nature and if there is a possibility of conciliation, it is done. Generally, it is not very much resorted to. So any discussion, any negotiation, or any information relating to the conciliation proceedings and the inquiry proceedings, including the action taken to the public, the press, or media in any manner. So there is a restriction, or rather embargo, that you cannot divulge any information related to the inquiry or action taken thereafter, other than sharing with those who are involved, like the complainant, the respondent. They can get information. Some proactive measures. So this is a very proactive initiative of the Government of India, Ministry of Women and Child Development, that is called She-Box, Sexual Harassment Electronic Complaints Box, like that. So for ensuring speedier assistance to women, this concept has been devised because, as we know, that we are not very much comfortable, even with this much of advancement in science and technology and education. Sometimes our sisters feel that this talking about this type of things is a stigma, or it will further humiliate her character, like that. So sometimes they, even if they are at the receiving end, they do not complain. So to get rid of this type of barrier, the ministry has come out with this very improvised devices. This is called She-Box, for ensuring speedier assistance to women at workplace. The Ministry of Women and Child Development, Government of India, launches Sexual Harassment Electronics Box, that is called She-Box. An aggrieved woman can register complaints related to sexual harassment at workplace through this link is there, http://www.shebox.nic.in. So directly one can file complaint there. Once a complaint is submitted to the portal, this is a portal and it is a dynamic portal working round the clock, it will be directly sent to the ICC of the concerned ministry, department, PSU, autonomous body. Complainant can monitor the progress of inquiry conducted by the ICC. Here, this facility is there, that a complaint, after filing a complaint, can also monitor the progress of the actions or the process that has been taken so far. So this is very innovative, these things, I should say, step taken by the Ministry of Women and Child Development, Government of India. So employees' point of view, this is not very much relevant. This is awareness of our employees at what to do and what not to do, and what type of this restriction they should put on themselves. Here again, I would like to highlight one thing, that is unwelcome behavior with women. So we should, while in a in the campus or in the workplace or any such public place, since I am from the male fraternity, I feel that our behavior should be that of a perfect gentleman. So anything that violates this type of behavior is there is often the risk of that complaint will be lodged against a particular person. So this type of things, it's as a matter of adequate precaution and warning, this word is highlighted time and again, that is unwelcome behavior, either direct or by implication. So since our friends, they are very tech savvy, they will know that a lot of information, very important and vital information, are available now in this web. So some I would like to refer something here. So this is one which we have covered, is the Act. I have not covered all the things. Act is all the provisions cannot be covered in a single show. So the Act, our research scholar friend will find time to read it. It is there in the website. Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace, Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act, and it is followed by rules. Both are of the year 2013. Then also there is a very lucid, simple and handy handbook published by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. It is called Handbook for Employers Organization, ICC, LCC, published by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. Then there is UGC also has come out with one sort of regulations. It is called UGC, Prevention, Prohibition, Redressal of Sexual Harassment of Women Employees women employees and students in higher educational institution regulations 2015. It is published, I think, I believe in the year 2016. So these things, there's some details are also there. So our friends will find it very important to have a look at all these things. Then these are some preemptive and proactive measures. This is not within this governmental framework. These are some, this networking campaign or campaign launched in social media platforms. We know very much about Me Too campaign. It is there, so I need not elaborate much. Everybody has some knowledge about this. Then Whisper Network, Time's Up movement, Mosque Me Too movement, any other innovative practice. There are a lot of this type of practices are there. It has been followed internationally, and it has helped in reducing or at least creating a fear amongst those offenders. There are maybe not all male are bad. Some people are there, only a fraction, a very little percentage, but they create all these havocs and they make the world very ugly for all of us. So this type of campaign, Me Too campaign, Whisper Network, Time's Up movement, Mosque Me Too movement, this helped in reducing this menace of sexual harassment or issues related to it. So Me Too movement is a movement against sexual abuses and harassment where people publicize allegations of crimes committed by powerful and or prominent men. So, well, these things are done by very powerful who has the long hand. They can subvert administration. They will try to tamper with judicial process. So it is kind of defaming them in the public or media space, so that they stop doing this time or stop repeating this, or those who are in the habit of doing it, they will stop such kind of behavior. The original purpose of Me Too movement, as is by Turner Burke in 2006, was to empower women, particularly young and vulnerable ones, through empathy. Whisper network, it is an informal chain of information passed privately amongst women about list of powerful persons in an organization who are repeated or serial sexual abuser or harasser. The information is often spread through word of mouth, campaign in social media, forums, crowdsourced documents, etc. The stated purpose of maintaining this list is to warn potential victims. The stated purpose of maintaining this list is to warn the potential victims of people to avoid in an organization. So you know that there are a lot of complaints about these things, and people, in order to stop this repetition of such act, the potential victims are warned beforehand, so that to whom they should avoid. These lists are published or through different channels. Before this I wind up, I should also that our this Bollywood or any other film industry, they have also come up with very good films to create awareness amongst all of us. I'd like to emphasize the point, all of us, because I am not isolating or segregating anyone. One very important film, I think all of good number of us have already seen, that is Pink. So that is a very good movie, and they are very sensitively, some things have been portrayed. One important line or one dialogue that is that has caught the attention of many of us. It is, no means no. When a woman says no, we have to understand, yes, it is direct, clear, it is no. There is no other meaning or connotation or between the lines meaning of these things. So we have to take this as on the word that is uttered, no. So that is, I think I have covered in a nutshell. I am afraid I will not be able to give you all the knowledge at a time, and there is also limitation on my part. So before I wind up, I would like to say that the government of India is committed to promote gender equality and women's empowerment across every sector, which will result in inclusive growth and benefit the nation as a whole. Because you know that Swami Vivekananda has said that like a bird cannot fly with one wing, a nation cannot progress only with the working power of a male people. If it's to progress, it has to prosper on both fronts with our all people, both male and female, to contribute in it. And hopefully, I'd like to say here one observation, that in the northeast of India, especially if we take Assam University as a case study, that our there is lot of I think I mean this ratio of students or research scholars is almost 50-50, maybe more. So our university campus is vibrant things in this connection. So, but our intention is to make an ideal scenario where it is to have a gender sensitive campus. So with this, I would like to thank, and if there is questions, if our chairperson permits one or two questions, I'll try to answer, or our chairperson ma'am herself will try to respond. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Niharendu. Actually, Priya is asking for first 3 slides. I don't know why. Priya, can you please speak out? Priya Mondal, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. It was not visible in my desktop. That's why.
Okay. So, Mr. Dhar, can you please re-show those 3 slides if you want
First
to
slide.
see?
This is the first slide.
We don't see the slide presented.
Huh? Oh, okay. Let me present.
Yeah. In the meantime, if anyone is having any query, because this is very sensitive issue and this is to be discussed, and like you are in the upper strata of, the studentship. So after that, you will never be in the classroom again, possibly. So it is your duty to be aware of such issues and spread the awareness amongst the people you are mingling with. So anyone having any query will be there. And right now, if you want to ask some question, you can ask. Yeah, these are open sources. You can always find out
And
through Google and read.
share
Minimum introduction has been given by Mr. Dhar. You can always pick up from the.
and if required, I can also share the PPT.
Sir, it would be better if you can share the PPT through mail.
Yeah.
Just a minute. Can you please show the slide?
Okay, just a minute.
Mr. Dhar, please present the slides.
Yeah. I'm trying.
You may put off your video. That will help.
Any questions? I'll try to answer. Some problem I'm not.